What is going on, YouTube? So coming back with my third team preview of the day, which is the Oklahoma Sooners. So recap the format before I actually go into it. We're going to start with the 3 key players and the 2 X factors, then the trap game, biggest game, and then the record prediction for OU. So let's go ahead and start with the 3 key players. Start out with number 1, Jordan Thomas. Again, I mention him almost every single time I mention OU because I think he's going to have to be huge for OU this year. Losing Zach Sanchez then leaves a hole to fill at corner. He was already a solid starting corner last year opposite Zach Sanchez. And I think with a decent amount of departures on defense, he's going to have to step up in a big way and kind of be that leader, or be the leader of that defense. My next key player is Baker Mayfield, a quarterback that was very close to winning the Heisman last year. Also, very close to getting OU to a national championship. Kind of close, actually. Got beat by Clemson pretty good in the college football playoff. But anyway, pretty much completely turned around the program from, maybe a mid-ranked top 25 program to back being where OU used to be. So like I said, he's gonna have to be big this year. He loses a couple of his players along the offensive side of the ball, most notably Sterling Shepard. But all signs point to him having another successful year, maybe another Heisman-type campaign. Interesting to see whether he will enter the draft or not after this season. So move on to my 4th player, and that is Steven Parker, the safety for OU. Now, I mentioned Jordan Thomas. Steven Parker is going to be just as big in leading that secondary to really take that next step up. With losing so many players in the pass rush, the secondary is going to have to step up and do their thing. So get into some of my X factors, and the first one is a productive run game. So when you have Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine in the backfield, I don't think it's going to be a big problem. I believe they did lose Alex Ross to transfer over the offseason. But with the air raid offense, they're going to be spending a lot of time, obviously, passing the ball. But with losing a guy like Sterling Shepard, that's taking one big weapon away. While you still have a guy like Samaje Perine, one of the best running backs in the country, in the backfield, you've got to be able to utilize that. If they can stay with a productive run game, make sure the offense is at least a little bit balanced, then this should be one of the most efficient offenses in all of college football. So my second X factor is the pass rush, and this is maybe one of the biggest question marks for OU heading into the season. Losing Eric Stryker and Charles Tapper and Dominique Alexander, it's gonna hurt. They lost a lot along the defensive front, and guys like Matthew Romar are gonna have to step up big. There's a bunch of new faces along that defensive line, and both defensive ends are gonna have to be replaced. So we'll see what happens there. Like I said, I think the secondary will step up in a big way and should be the main staple of this OU defense. So start with my trap game when I talk about the schedules, and my trap game for OU is West Virginia. West Virginia has been a tough out for a lot of Big 12 teams in recent years. In 2013, probably the Big 12 favorite at the time, Oklahoma State lost to West Virginia in Morgantown. That's what I was looking for. And then 2014, they knocked out Baylor as well. 2015, not really that big staple win. But you get where I'm going with this. This is a West Virginia team that, at least along the offensive side of the ball, should be improved. And again, Morgantown's always a tough place to win. This is sandwiched right in the middle of 2 games for OU that are huge, between Baylor and then Oklahoma State. So overlooking West Virginia could be a mistake that they end up doing, and it could end up costing them. Now, West Virginia has never been a huge problem for OU, but it really could be this year. Like I said, it's a team you can never count out. So move on to my biggest game, and I've got the Ohio State game. Now, I know it's weird saying that a non-conference game is their biggest game, but lost my notes. This is a team that in 2 of the 3 first weeks they play 2 top 15, at least in my opinion, out of conference teams. in Houston and Ohio State. And the Houston game is not the biggest game by any means. Obviously, it's going to help, and if they lose to Houston, that's a rough start to the season. Could cost them a college football playoff spot. You're never sure with being a one-loss Big 12 team. But this Ohio State game is all for national recognition for the Big 12. This is the best of the Big 10 against the best of the Big 12. I mean, I guess we'll see if that actually rings true, but it's something that OU's not just representing themselves, they're representing the conference. If they can get that win, even if they are a one-loss team inside the Big 12 and they do lose one game inside the Big 12, that goes a long way to showing that they deserve to be in the college football playoff. So getting to my prediction for OU, I think their record's going to end up being 13-1. I see this team very similar to last year's, where they end up going, I think they will end up going undefeated through their schedule or a one-loss team. And in my mind, they probably go undefeated through their schedule. The Big 12's not looking so hot right now. And they do get Baylor and Oklahoma State, probably their two toughest teams that they play at home. At TCU is going to be a tough one, but like I said, as long as they can clear through that out-of-conference schedule, they're sitting pretty heading into the season. I still think there's teams better in the country than OU, just talent-wise, that will give OU another contest. Clemson, Alabama, Florida State being a couple of them. But again, I see OU doing big things this year, just like last year. So that pretty much does it for this video. I will be coming back tomorrow with Auburn, probably Auburn and Alabama, so the Iron Bowl teams. If you've not seen any of my college football previews yet that you want to go check out, the link to the entire playlist will be in the description below. And in one of the videos, there is the link to the schedule, or there's the schedule for my entire college football previews. But that's pretty much it. See ya.